we'll be silly.
No.
I'm happy to be silly.
Yeah.
Dean, I don't give a flying flip if it's Dylan Moore. You sit your ass at the Shabbos table till 10 o'clock and then you can go do your thing. Ben Key, you can choose anything.
Yeah.
I know.
No, we need a forward.
We need a forward.
I might wait, hold on, I'm not talking. Ben Keys.
Yeah.
What? Why?
I've actually heard the only thing less likely than a North Melbourne win is Chase making a sale at work.
What's that? Max?
Backs. Yeah.
Mids, forwards.
Harry? Ooh, Adams, 89.
Welcome back to Doss and Toss, Season 5, Episode 20. Nice even numbers there, all divisible by 5. And there really isn't anywhere else to go besides yesterday. Our guest from last week has broken the record for the most disposals in a game, equaled the record alongside Titch. Wow, it really hit me last night. We have a record breaker, and I messaged to our footy chat that we've grown up watching some of the greats, Ablett, Pendlebury's, Fife, Dangerfield, Dusty, and Harry has got more disposal in a game than any of these guys. It's really incredible. I'll throw it to you boys. How did you go about watching the game, and what were your emotions?
So whenever I watch Harry, I always see him as a mate, not the North Melbourne player. And the whole game, I just kept seeing him get the ball, and then we're riding him to get his 54 touches. You so beautifully videoed yourself in the last 15 seconds, cheering him on. And then it didn't really hit me until he had got it and I started seeing everyone on Instagram or everyone talking about it. And it's wow, he really just did that. As you said on the chat, little Jewish boy from Mount Scopus, came through school with us all.
Really
he's just one of our mates.
Articulated it nice, I must say.
And now he's got more touches than the game greats have ever done in one game. And I've ran out of words. I don't really know what to say. It's so rewarding for him after seeing he's been through a rough season in terms of where North Melbourne have been, and also personally he's struggled with all the different roles, as he said last week. But I think it reminded us how good Harry is and how much media attention he deserves. And it was cool to see the whole footy world get around him, put an end to the previous definition of Sheezy ball and make a new one.
Yes, Brody?
I want to know, at what point were you boys on Harry Watch?
Well, I actually couldn't watch the first half.
Same here.
I was at a Capri soccer game.
Yep.
And I saw the stats on my phone and I was like, all right, probably need to watch this. So I had the radio on when I was driving home and listening, and I kept hearing his name and I was getting excited, and then I watched probably the end of the third and then all of the last at home, and it was I don't remember half of his touches. He'd be on 37 and then I'd quickly go on my phone and then he's on 40 and I don't remember him touching the ball, but I guess it was so effortless for him in the end. And then the last minute was pretty enthralling when he was on 49, got the ball, and then Maurice Rioli runs him down from nowhere.
Great tackle.
Yeah, it was pretty funny, but it was also shit, he might not get it here. And then he just got 3 in a minute.
I started looking for him. It was brilliant.
Yeah. And honestly, Griffin Logue understood the assignment. He was giving it to him. But there were some players that just didn't understand the assignment, and I was pretty pissed off. But he got there in the end.
Logue actually missed the first handball received to Harry, and the camera panned to Harry, and you could see him say, "Nah, don't worry, mate, all good." So Logue must have apologised, and he rectified his actions later, and it was great. It was so good to watch. I started watching from the second quarter, and a pivotal moment of the game was when Nick Vlosten went back with the flight and ultimately broke his leg. The news came out today. But that was pivotal because Remy had him, and Remy Spicer, previous guest, lost a friend of the podcast, Adam Schuster, in unbelievable circumstances. But that moment was huge because Vlosten went down, played not enough TOG or...
He ended up in not enough talk, but he had Josh Sin as his emergency who got 14.
Yeah.
Monte.
And what actually happened was Harry crumbed that and kicked a goal. So it was really weird. You're trying to follow the fantasy, but Harry's also having an impact. But Harry, the player, doesn't have an impact in our fantasy because Brody came last and he owned Harry.
Thanks for that, Dean. I wrote on our Ultimate Footy chat during the end of the second quarter, I think maybe a few minutes left, like, boys, is he going for it? He's on 27, about to be 28 touches. And he needs 50. Chase goes, does he need 54? And I said, yep, that's it. And we weren't sure if he was going to get there. Then he got just over 40 at the end of the third, and he just kept on building from there. It was an incredible watch. It was brilliant. And I've always wondered if AFL players know their stats. So I actually asked Harry maybe 2 weeks ago whether he gets to see. He says, yeah, if we're playing at Marvel, I can see up on the board if there's a stoppage or if there's a goal or halftime or anything like that. So yeah, I'm aware when I'm on a certain amount of touches or handballs or whatever, and I'm thinking Harry knows this. He's gonna try and go for it. It would have been in the back of his mind. He's very humble. He's not going to admit that was the goal, but he would have been aware of it.
Yeah.
I'd like to think at least.
Yeah. I mean, like, he's not the type of guy to, like, let someone else know about it. Like, when he didn't get it from Logue, like, he's not going to go, oh, give it to me. But, like, you'd hope the players would, understand. And they did in the end. Like, Powell's kick to him, like, that lateral kick when he could have easily gone forward. So it was good to see the boys get around them. LDU also had an incredible game with 40 and 1 that no one really speaking about. So good to see him.
Sherry was also great.
Sherry, had 17 tackles, and PC with 5. So, yeah, it was a great game for North. But, yeah, just, like, really happy for Harry. I mean, speaking to him last week and getting a bit of an idea of, I mean, we know him, but like getting a bit of a deeper understanding of him as a person and as a footballer, and then seeing it a few days later, him breaking a record was really good. And gee, there's a lot of, tall poppy syndrome in this country, and I think, like, I'm just so happy for him. I just, like, yeah, really proud. I'm a really proud friend to see Harry break the record.
In our fairness, we don't ever ask those deep AFL related questions when we're around him. We tend to steer clear from AFL when speaking with him. It's usually fantasy if we do, but otherwise it's just, catching up as mates, schoolboys who have known each other for years. So the questions that Chase was asking, they were intense, but they were really good to hear, and they were great answers as well. Something a bit different which was nice. What I loved is how we also predicted he was going to get the piece of paper out. We obviously didn't know if that was going to happen. I'm not sure if that's been done in AFL before. I don't recall Titch doing it. It's very much an NBA related move, and it was very cool to see. Wilt Chamberlain is the OG, and we've seen players like Devin Booker, Donovan Mitchell do it. We've seen Luka Doncic. It's a cool thing to say.
Yep. Big day for Saints fans today with Naz signing on. We'll get to that in a sec, but Saturday Arvo, Dean and I went to the footy with a couple of friends of the podcast, including Dean's brother Zach, Kai, Dean's dad, who asked a great question last week about asking if the coin was real, but probably the best of friends, Shag, who hasn't gotten mentioned on the podcast for a long time.
Elusive man.
2 weeks, I reckon.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I think we spoke about him 2 weeks ago. But anyway, I'm all for it. I love it.
Yeah, so Shag came. It was a 1v5. I was the only Melbourne supporter and 5 Hawk supporters, and going to that game was pretty unfortunate. But it was always good to see Shag, and he was pretty annoying during the game. But,
Was he?
To me, yeah. Well, it started off with...
let's start with this.
Okay, so it started off with Shag, asked me before the game if Jack Gunston was All-Australian. And I was like, look, I think he's had a good season. He'll probably be in the 40, but I don't really think he's in the team. I think you'd have Cameron Thilthorpe and, Ben King or maybe Sam Darcy. But I'm not sure Sam Darcy's eligible, which is pretty stupid because I think I'd still have him in. And I was like, look, Gunston's had a good year, but I think he scored most of his goals against the bottom sides. And then Gunston went on to kick like goal after goal after goal.
Still a bottom side.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying. I was like, he's playing on Stephen May, who's statistically been the worst defender, who's given up the most goals this year, and Blake Howes, who's not even a key defender. But Harry kept letting me know every goal he kicked, and then Dean kept saying, just say he's all Australian.
Yeah,
and he'll
because
stop."
I said to Chase, if you just say he's all Australian, he's not going to kick another. But Chase, being stubborn as he is, wouldn't say it, and Gunston just kept kicking him.
But
Chase, what more did he have to prove to you? He's all Australian now,
Do you believe in
surely.
fate? I don't know. 50 goals for the year, and it's his highest.
60.
Sorry, 60. That's the most he's ever kicked in a. Who would have thought in his 13?
Oh,
Yeah.
he's 33, 34.
I can't even bother doing the math, but definitely in his twilight.
Yeah.
It's just-
incredible. They thought he'd be playing at Box Hill this year.
Yeah, the storyline was that we got him back for Brisbane, help with our young guys, mentor Cal Shadir, and he wasn't even in the best 22 come round one when Deer and Lewis were out. So it was just Chol for the first
Really?
2 or 3 weeks, just Chol. Gunston was in the twos.
I'd love to know the changes that go through with your lifestyle or habits, personal life, for that to happen.
I don't reckon any.
Year and it would have been his last season, but we'll play on now.
When you're that professional, I just think it's consistency and a bit of fortune as well. And he's so smart, Gunston. He's one of the smartest footballers. He's never in a man strength 1-on-1. He's always on the lead, knows the patterns, and against a weak defence like Melbourne, he's able to pick them apart.
You think he's going to be all Australian?
I think he should, 100%.
I think he's definitely in the conversation. We'll see how he goes this week.
I just didn't rate your argument that it's only been against bad teams, because what else are you supposed to do? That's who you're fixtured against, and it's not
know.
our fault that there's 9 bad
But
teams.
your Shag and Dean's argument was goals, and at the point when I said it, there was 4 or 5 guys who had kicked more goals than him. And I assume Ben King will overtake him as he has 2 games, one against Port and one against Essendon. I know Gunston's more than that, and he's had 10 more goal assists than Ben King. I just checked. But I would rather have small forwards, even midfielders, or a medium-sized forward than play all 3.
Was this a Shag story? I was brief with.
No. This isn't.
Good.
All right, we can segue to that.
We can segue. So after the game, we're on the way home and we're on the train. That's the context. We're on the train home, and Dean actually saw what happened. So I think I'd rather Dean to explain it.
Hey, so we're on the train heading to Caulfield Station. Yeah, I'm getting to the climax. Just wait on. We're at Malvern, either South Yarra or Malvern, and a kid's about to get off as the train's stopping, and I see him just holding his mouth a bit, and I thought he's about to spit, and then he just munts everywhere, everywhere, right next to us. But it wasn't there wasn't a lot of noise coming with it, so it was just he munted and just ran off. Me and these other few guys around me noticed, we gave each other faces, they got hit a bit. And then I noticed a bit of collateral damage on Shag, on his pants, jumper, and next to his feet. And knowing Shag before, having also been around him when this happens, I don't know why, he has a bit of a gag reflex, and if he sees vomit, he will produce the same himself. No. So I said quickly, before all the others cause a ruckus, I'm like, Shag, just don't look down. And then he's like, what? Why? I'm like, Shag, just don't look down. We'll get off after. Eventually he keeps pestering me, and I eventually tell him that this boy munted as he was getting off, and he's like, oh, and then I got nervous. I'm like, get me out of here. And he didn't know it was on him. And then about a minute later, we're still on the train. Some guy comes and taps Harry, and he's like, sorry, but just to let you know, you have a bit of the vomit on your back. Chase can take it from here.
Oh, so he's got a bit of vomit on his back, and I didn't even believe it. I thought that was just a joke, because there's no way that actually happened to Shag, but it did. And Shag, to be fair, he composed himself pretty well. He didn't really gag at all.
Shag.
And yeah, it's always Shag. This stuff always happens to Shag. Anyway, we're kind of staying really still. I also don't really, I have a bit of a phobia of vomit as well. So I'm also kind of trying to stay out of it and just look ahead. We get off the train, and I drove Shag to the station. So I said to Dean, look, Dean, you've got to take Shag home. I don't want Shag with his vomit on his back going in my car. So Dean and I are just arguing about who's going to take Shag home, and Shag's just in the middle of it.
But I also didn't know what his tendencies would be. So I thought he's the type of guy that would like come up to you and rub it on you.
I was thinking
So
about
you
that.
got to
He
watch
would,
out. So like we're on the road and I'm just trying to like move away, hold my distance. And then there's no tissues or anything. So I told him I'll use a record. I've got the footy record on me.
You just take the top off or pants.
Well, I was telling him because on his pants, like, you have to take your pants off. Like, you want me to take you home, you're taking your pants off.
So I said I'll use the record to like dust you off and chases the video. So I got a piece of paper from the record. Sorry, Ash Brown. And I'm using it and dabbing it a bit. And it was yuck. Zach was there as well. And then I quickly just disposed of that. Got in my car with Zach, drove off so Chase had to take him. But Chase was giving him the ultimatum. It's like you either strip and come in the car or you're walking home.
I feel like that's not the first time Chase has said that to Shag.
Oh, maybe. I don't know. All right, that's a good lot of Shag airtime.
Great clip opportunity for you. You got the video as well. And you sent it to our Ultimate Footy chat and there was no context.
Yeah. Well, the clips doesn't really show because Shag told me not to film and then threatened to ask my phone. But yeah, that's a lot of Shag airtime. We're happy to move on to Nasiah Wanganeen-Malira signing a 2-year contract.
Nasiah,
But
Wanganeen-Malira.
is that a song?
Yeah.
Is that the
Yeah.
Isle
It's
40,
a bit
whatever it
intense,
is?
though.
Okay. 4 mil, 2 mil a year for 2 years. And apparently Port were offering 30 mil over 12 years, which is 2.5 million a season. Incredible. And I just don't understand how a club can offer such a contract. Yeah. But it's a big day for the Saints. Good on the Saints. They've won 4 games, but this is the news that they needed. They would have been pretty stuffed without him. But now they've got 2 guys on 3.7 mil next year with DeConing, assuming that DeConing comes. Is this viable? Like, does this... If you're a St Kilda player, if you're, Cal Wilkie, Jack Sinclair, Jack Steele, Rowan Marshall, are you like happy that Nasiah staying and this is what it takes, or are you like, hang on a second, like I've got a couple of Australians here, like why am I not on this money, or why was I never offered this money in my prime?
Yeah, it's really tough to answer that on their behalf. I would say that there would be a bit of jealousy. Like, they're not performing well enough for players to be taking pay cuts and be happy to stay. They're not in that type of situation. So it would be hard for those other players, I reckon. It's an interesting one because I've always thought that like you can't just be paying one of your top players all the money and then just trying to split it up with everyone else. You want a more well-rounded team without one or two superstars trying to carry the way. So 2 million is a lot. I'm not sure what was going on with Port and why anyone would decline that. 30 million, you're good for the rest of your life. No one's ever seen that money in AFL, and there's a good chance no one will for probably a few more years, I'd say. 12 years, yeah, it's crazy.
It is crazy. The one thing I'd say about that is, let's say he went to Port on such a contract, it means that Port, an already struggling Port, is they're gonna have cap space issues in the future in those 12 years if he's on that much money, and also it would be incredibly difficult for him to leave Port. You've seen what's happened with Oliver and Petrarca on big contracts and a lot of money. It's actually quite difficult to leave because if you want to leave, the next club has to take on that contract unless you take a pay cut, but that's unlikely.
That's evident by the 12 years. I don't think we've ever. What's the longest contract we've seen? Blakey?
It was, I think, Buddy and Pickett.
How many years?
10.
Well, Pickett's an 8-year extension, so it's 10 years in total.
What's the longest we've ever seen in the NBA? It's max 5, yeah?
There's a limit, no?
In the NBA, I'm pretty sure it's Supermax is 5 years.
Yeah, no one has signed.
What is it in soccer?
There isn't. I don't think there's a limit. Not that I know of.
What's the biggest contract?
I don't. It's honestly not. It's not really spoken about much. It's more about like the weekly wages is spoken about. But I think there's like 8-year contracts going around.
I'm pretty sure in the baseball, Otani, the Japanese player for Dodgers, signed for 10 years.
Yes.
That's
The biggest Kola Kavodas to go to Ben Williams, Naz's manager. Unbelievable bargaining.
Well, I'd put the collar forward back on Nasiah Wanganeen-Malira.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Like in a contract year to play that well and get this deal, like he's done pretty well for himself.
Yeah, I was talking contractually and with teams involved. the way it's panned out. He's probably upped it from $1 million. It was probably at $1 million. Now it's at $2 million.
All the media hype did it for him. His manager has the easiest job going around after that.
But he could have signed it at 1.4 when they offered it that to him. It would have been perfect. Kick the winning goal, best on ground, sign the deal then.
Offer him 1.4?
I think it was at 1.4 then.
Yeah.
So do you reckon he was always going to stay and kind of like played?
Use it
Like
100%.
And what are your thoughts on that? Like, do you think that's moral?
No, look after yourself.
I don't think so. I mean, I don't think he was always going to stay. I think he probably tried to go to Adelaide, saw that a trade's not going to work, and then saw that Porter trending to the bottom of the ladder and went, I don't know if I want to be there. And then he figured, I think I'll stay here. But you also just don't know. Like he's not a media person. He's not natural in front of the camera like others. So he doesn't get that question to him often. And you've seen recently he's given nothing. Like no one's been able to tell. And yeah, he's done a good job. But it also has it plagued St Kilda throughout the season or?
Oh, mate, I think the Saints have done what they were always going to do. Like, just be mid and then win a few games at the end of the season as they always do, to be honest.
The real question is he actually worth $2 million?
Well, I mean, you don't really know, like, I mean, in this market, no, because no one's been worth $2 million. Is he the best player ever? No. But I guess sometimes you have to do what you have to do to keep a generational player around. And, like, if that's what St Kilda had to do, then fair enough. Like, let's say St Kilda went back to 1.4 and you've got Port offering, let's say, over 2. We said 2.5. Like, that'd be pretty hard to say, oh, no, I'm going to stay at St Kilda when I could go back home for $1 million more a season.
There's every chance to still go back home after 2 years.
Well, I think he's put himself in a good position there. I don't think it takes him to free agency, but it gives himself another opportunity for a new contract. Yes, he could have had the security of like a long-term contract, but mate, you're going to get $4 million in the next 2 years, and if he continues on this trajectory, he's going to get another huge contract after that.
It's a lot of tax to the Victorian government compared to if he was playing in Adelaide.
Is it a big difference?
Yeah.
Okay, that's something to consider as well. What do you reckon he spends his money on?
That's a good question.
Yochi?
Does he like Yochi?
Yeah, with Horn Francis and Burgoyne.
Okay. What is...
That's a lot of Yochis.
Like, do you ever think about this?
Yeah.
Like, what
During
like
the
some of these players...
During the season, I reckon it's pretty hard for them. Like, it's cold as well. You wouldn't be spending, unless you really like clothes and shoes. I assume that. Otherwise, you're not going out that much. You're not living a luxurious lifestyle as an AFL player. It'd be pretty hard. They'd be spending most of it in the off season when they go on their trips together with teammates or friends.
It also depends how much you want to plan for life after footy as well.
Maybe investment in a house.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. Like, I reckon it has to be like you got to invest in real estate, like with that type of money. Because like you don't need that money like day to day life. I'm sure he doesn't need that much money to spend. Yeah. So you got to invest it surely. But like he'd need the right advice as well from his manager.
For a lot of these AFL players, it's not enough to just invest in a house straight away. So it takes 5+ years of playing time.
Yeah.
He joins a lot of players who have recently knocked back these mammoth offers from other clubs to stay loyal to their clubs. In Callaghan, Chad Warner, Mac Andrew, Ben King's had a lot of offers as well. And it's interesting. Like, a lot of players are just choosing to stay. The money, we'll see with Harley Reid, but the money isn't bringing them out. So for a lot of AFL teams, I think it's got to be about more than just the contract. It's about the on-field performance.
Yeah. We'll get to Doss's deliberation and then we'll come back to... That's all right. So the question this week is, can you win a premiership if you have a $2 million player? Because what I've noticed over the past few years is the teams that win a flag often have a lot of bang for your buck or undervalued players in their team. So
role players.
Yeah, role players
system perfect.
that are often coming up and haven't got that big deal. So you look at Brisbane last year with like Lohman, Will Ashcroft, Logan Morris, Ryan Lester. Like, these guys aren't on big contracts. They're still coming up. But then in 2 years' time, Will Ashcroft's going to be, hey, like, where's my $1 million? Logan Morris is going to be like, oh, I could go back to Victoria. Where's my $1 million? So can you win a premiership? Can you build a premiership side if you've got a guy on $2 million?
I'm not going to say no, but I think it's awfully difficult to be able to do so. you can't really shape an AFL team of 22 players with one superstar. It's not like the NBA, like we know, where one player can have such a significant impact on the court that it can change the dynamics of the entire team. So, like I said before, I'm not going to say no, but it would make it a lot harder.
Yeah.
Also, with salary caps increasing, it makes this question a bit harder to understand. You know?
Yeah, well, I think it goes up by $1 million a year until 27, and then I assume it'll be revised again.
Yeah, obviously it's hard to decipher not knowing the wages and the salary cap, but I tend to disagree as well. I don't see how, unless you've shifted a lot of other contracts back-ended and you've got the one guy at $2 million, I don't see how you're going to pay enough of your star players, because one player can't just take you to the promised land. And a lot of those players, especially if you're going to build a dynasty and contend, which is your greatest chance to win a premiership, is having a bigger window than just one season, then it definitely isn't going to work, because you're going to have players leaving. And I think we might see that. I think Steele and Marshall should leave. I think it would be better for both team and player.
Yeah, I also think no, and I'd love to play devil's advocate and say you can. But the issue with having a guy on $2 million is it brings everyone else up. So in St Kilda's case, they're going to get De Koning probably, and also Leclerc on 700, 800, which is crazy because he is not proven at all. And he's had one good back with a flight mark against Geelong. I think that's ridiculous. And if I was Cal Wilkie, I'd be pretty upset with that. But if you've got a $2 million player, you almost have to bring up everyone else. Like, if you're on $2 million, next best is on 800, 900, that, like, the player managers aren't going to accept that. So it's going to cause issues. It's going to cause rifts within the team. And I think, back in the Hawthorn dynasty days, players had to accept that, if you want to be a successful team here, then, we can't have a guy that's earning, over $1 million. So
yeah, Hodge goes on about that all the time, how they took pay cuts to have the 3P.
I almost have an answer.
Jack Riewoldt as well for Richmond.
Kudafidi signed for $1 million, but it wasn't during their premiership year in 1995. It was in 2003, 2004. Signed for $1 million. If you count for inflation today, it's almost worth $2 million.
okay.
So that was well ahead of its time. A $1 million player.
That's good. Nice.
There you go.
All right. So there you go. Yes,
Almost.
you can. The big news out of this morning before the signing of NWM was Isaac Rankin being investigated for a potential homophobic slur, and I think the investigation is still ongoing. We don't know what's potentially going to happen, but gee, if you're Adelaide, you're pretty cut about that.
Pretty crazy if they decide to give him 6 weeks for this, like they did with Power.
They have to. Like, they can't. I mean, it might not be 6, it might be 4 or 5.
Can common
but
sense
they have to.
prevail?
What's
2?
common sense? That
2.
it's finals.
Yeah.
No, that from now on it's 2 weeks, and if you're a repeat offender, then we have bigger issues to talk about. But if you have one little slip up, like, is a little slip up, and I'm not saying it's just, I'm not minimising the offence, it is an offensive term, but I think 2 weeks is an enormous suspension, considering players have gotten much less for much more physical damage. So is that worth 2 weeks?
You're trying to set an example with Power with 6 weeks. I don't know how you can, like Chase said, how can you steer away from that and go less for Rankin? It's just, no one wants to see it. No one wants to see him miss finals. It'd be pretty unfortunate, but it's a pretty shitty situation.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, pretty, dumb. Like, Isaac Rankin, what an idiot for, doing this now.
Moment, you're not thinking about this shit. You're not.
And yes,
Obviously,
I understand
it's
heat of the moment.
not acceptable at all, but far out. To be suspended for that,
I understand heat of the moment, but
give him a fine.
I don't know. I just don't think you should be a lot better than that. Like, the education that the AFL players are going with, the precedents that have happened.
Yeah.
Fair enough that they want to make a statement. My one thing about common sense is, should we minimize suspensions for finals? Like, should there be a finals tax on suspensions?
I think they do it anyway. And
yeah,
clear they do.
But a final is worth almost 2 games, almost more. It's almost 3 games.
As the AFL, you can't openly say that though. Otherwise,
No, I think you could. I think you could. I think
I think players will be.
And you could almost suspend like games. You could say, all right, it's if it's a 4-week suspension, it's 2 finals and 3 regular games, something like that, for next year, so we can play a prelim.
For a lot of players who are out of contract at the end of the season, round 23 and 24 is their grand final. If Dylan Moore was suspended at the end of 2020 against St Kilda, he doesn't get another contract. That game saved his career. If Evans, he looks like he's going to get another contract for Carlton. If he was suspended for a slur, he's gone. He's not getting another career.
Yeah, but that's
like
way too individualistic.
Yeah, but I mean,
finals
like,
is finals.
Every game is different for the individual. But when you're suspending them, you're suspending them for their own games as well.
Yeah, well, if Isaac Rankin misses a grand final, I'd hope that he joins Snoop Dogg in the pre-game entertainment.
Yeah, the double standards are ludicrous, really. And then
with
just everything going on in the AFL, I think.
Okay, do you want to wait till Let's Not Be Silly, or have you got something now?
It wasn't my Let's Not Be Silly.
Well, go on. You just made a big statement there with the double standard, so what are you talking about?
Well, you've banned all these players for homophobic slurs without having a statement released or any word from Andrew Dillon about what the matrix is for a suspension. Somehow every player's got a different week. So it's gone up from Finlayson to Powell to Collard, maybe one other player. And then
Andrew?
Who?
Riak Andrew from Sydney?
Yeah. And then Jack Graham self-reports it in inverted commas and gets 4 weeks. But we don't know. It's just subjective. Someone's just deciding this. There's no actual system. It's the same for the tackles and everything else. But then you've got the AFL placing a lot of impetus on Pride Round when Sydney's sponsored by Qatar Airways. Don't need to get into that.
What?
They're sponsored by Qatar Airways.
Sorry?
Sydney. But they run...
Right.
They're the advertisers for Pride Round.
Yes, that's ironic.
You've got Willie Rioli threatening players, getting nothing there. You've got Alex Pearce inciting hatred with an Instagram post. No statement, nothing, but a slur all of a sudden is 6 weeks. It's just, we need transparency and leadership to come out and say what is going on. What is this the direction we're heading?
Yeah. No, I agree. I also think...
And Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that?
Oh, his lyrics, what he...
they're all swear... Yeah, Crips and blood.
Yeah, what he symbolises as well. I don't mind it. I'm happy to bring a global superstar, but it's like, pick your battles, you know?
How good would Pitbull be?
Pitbull would be good.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a lot of good options, I guess, you could choose from. I think it would be better at night, though, or at twilight, which Sam McClure pushes very hard for.
I was thinking about the NFL and how well they do it. It's because it's either at night or the stadium is closed. So you get all the light effects and
Yeah.
it makes it really nice.
We could debate about that, changing the grand final time, but we don't have to. Brody, your Pies, speaking of Adelaide Pies, it wasn't a very well officiated game, but what do you make out of that? Like, you've lost 5 out of 6, but you almost put yourself back in a bit of form, getting close to top of the ladder.
You know, I said to Remy after the first quarter, like, gee, we look so on. This is the best footy I've seen since Hawthorn, about 7, 8 weeks prior. I don't know what happened. We had kicked 5 goals in the first quarter and then 1 or 2 after that till the fourth. The rain obviously had a bit of an impact, but credit to Adelaide. They're a great team, and I liked the direction we were heading. It's just unfortunate that it's not translating to wins at this time of the year. And it's going to make things tough. For next week and going into finals, you know, Hawks are versing Brisbane this week with the opportunity to make the top 4. We're obviously versing Melbourne. Percentage matters a lot. So we'll see. Don't have much to say. I really want Bobby Hill back, and I feel for him. It's a bit of a mess over there. So yeah, I think he would have been huge against Adelaide as a small forward in the wet. But what can you do?
Yeah, there's a lot to play out in the last round. Obviously, Freo Dogs is essentially an elimination final, so both those sides essentially have to win 5 games in a row for the flag. And then Gold Coast losing the Giants, like I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, like Gold Coast, like just beat Brisbane, beat the Giants. They got Brisbane, but not the Giants. They still could finish top 4 if they win their next 2, which they really should. But Geelong honestly look like the best team at the moment. They're running through everyone with ease. And I think it's really down to, like, Jeremy Cameron's obviously kicked a lot of goals, but you got to give credit to their smalls. Sean Manor in the last quarter against Sydney, unbelievable. His pressure mixed with Tyson Stengel's, finesse and craft. But then you've got Brian Myers as well, who's always linking up in the chain, averages 7 score involvements a game. Like, that fleet of small forwards with Cameron, Shannon Neal, and a bit of Jack Martin and Dangerfield.
Dempsey's peaking now. He's had a down year, but he's...
you don't want to face Geelong in finals.
No, they're also fully fit. I don't think they're missing a player from their best 23.
Do they do this every year towards the end of the season? Or is it just
they tend to. Yeah, they tend to. I think they've got all the puzzle pieces there, Geelong, and I honestly think they're the favourite with Rankin being out, with Collingwood being down on form. Yeah, they've been there. They know what to do.
Their system just stacks up. I think they were in such a good position against Brisbane in that prelim, but a bit of individual brilliance from Brisbane got them, and that's what it's going to take to beat Geelong. I don't think anyone's system's going to beat them. You're going to need one player to rip the game apart.
When they request for a home game at GMHBA to the AFL, do you think they believe they're a genuine chance to get that?
I think if they played against an interstate team, they would have thought, they've done it before against Freo, and I think they've been told before that, if it is against an interstate team, then they can play there. And given that they had the renovations done, you'd hope that they'd be able to play there. So, I don't know. I understand you want 90K at the G, but it's their home ground and it's 40K. It's not like it's 20K. I think it's fair enough that they can play at home, to be honest, at least for that first final.
The AFL would lose a lot of money off it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's fairness. But it's fairness. But it's the same thing as saying,
But is it? They get to train on that ground. No.
So do a lot of other clubs, no?
No other Victorian club gets to train on the ground.
But there are a lot of interstate teams. But the Giants, if they had a home ground, they'd play at NG Stadium, which has a capacity of, I don't even know.
But they don't train at NG Stadium.
I think that's besides the point of the training. It's it's their home ground. Prelim, fair enough, bit of a different story. It's a much bigger game. But I think their first final they should have at home, to be honest. If they've earned it, it takes a lot to finish top 2 or, 5 or 6. So I think they should have got a home final.
When did it change? Because they have had finals GMHBA.
2013 was the last time they played Freo and lost.
Oh, okay. So that's just that final's in my mind. Stephen Hill,
yeah. That's the stat of the week. So Harry, obviously record breaker, big news. But it's the Dot and Toss effect. We went through his stats post-podcast appearance. So 54 and 2, 37 and 1 last year, I believe, after he came on for Dotto Sher's episode.
Yes.
He had
37 touches and 1 goal.
Yeah. And then, it was just 37 touches. And then he had 30 and 1 in 2023 in his first year. So
he's averaging 40.
He's averaging 40 and 1 after the podcast.
Any players wanting to come on?
Yep.
We're open to it.
Yep. Well, from the fans, we had a few saying, Zach said, Harry on every week, ? Ruby said, we need Harry back on the potty again, not just for anniversaries. And Devon said, Harry should be on the podcast more often because every time he's on, he plays a great game. All correct.
Well, yeah, Harry should rejoin us. You've seen what happened. What was the other stat you had?
When he makes finals, we'll get him on the week before finals. We can't. It's going to turn in.
All right, let's hope we're doing the podcast in 10 years.
I doubt that.
I'm kidding.
When the stat is 25% of North Melbourne wins since the inception of this podcast have come after Harry has come on the podcast, which is 2 out of 10. So 10 and 4. They've won 10 games since the inception of this podcast.
2 out of 10, 25%. Okay, Chase.
Sorry, that's 20%. My bad. I fucked up the math. My bad.
Also, when you said, I couldn't be bothered mentioning it, but no, I can. You said at the very start, season 5, round 20, both even numbers and divisible by 5.
Well, they are divisible by 5.
Are you sure he said even numbers?
I feel like I thought he said both round numbers.
Both nice numbers.
I heard even. Well, we'll find it.
We'll find out.
Anyway.
I honestly don't really care. I even haven't made a mistake.
But it was cool. What about the clip that Sylv didn't like?
Yeah, so I obviously quickly posted a clip of Harry, and we're talking about, some relationships with girls and how he's going, giving me an AFL player. I thought it was a genuine question. And then I posted it, and Harry kindly asked for me to take it down, which is fair enough. I respect that. But then Nick Larkey responds to Harry asking, I actually don't even know what he said, but he wasn't a fan of what I said, what I asked, or what we said. But Larkey becomes the second player from North Melbourne to have a go at us. So
Good to see Wardlaw getting around it. Though.
yeah, good to see Wardlaw with a
comments are
comment.
great.
Yeah, that was good. That was good, George.
Yeah, so those who didn't see, George Wardlaw commented, not true, I've seen Harry devour chocolate like Augustus Gloop.
Nah, he commented. Like, you could imagine him saying it was a no. I've seen him eat.
Yeah. No, it's good, got good traction. Sardis liked that comment, so did Cal
Did he?
Toomey.
I
Yep.
didn't even see Sardis.
No, but
Let's-
yeah, I thought...
Yep. You thought?
Nah, for Larky, I just think he may have missed the question. Like, we weren't trying to take the piss. We were genuinely asking, because I
Question
think...
from the fan as well.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I tried to kind of fix Aiden Karp's question, who's asked another one. I don't want to throw you under the bus there, but I tried to, make the most out of a facetious question.
I think in the Jewish community, him being the first ever star in the AFL and first ever Jewish player in more than 25 years has a very different impact to a regular private schoolboy just making the AFL. And I think that's what we didn't really discuss, but I think that's what makes it different
Yeah, it's tough
when
to
you've got
understand.
relationships going on and you've got every girl who might go up to him for the fame rather than his genuine personality.
Yeah.
But I trust Harry. I liked his answer, and he'll be able to see.
Yes.
Sure, he'll find the right one.
Yeah, we're keen to see how that one plays out. Not the only Jewish player in the competition. There is another one out there, but I'll keep it under wraps.
Why?
Oh, I just don't know if he really wants the limelight at all. But yeah. Anyway, we'll go to the rest of the questions. Stiggs asks, did the AFL want Crows to win after the first quarter? Free kick count was 20-3 for Crows.
He was there.
He was there?
Stiggs was there.
I assume so by the photo of him.
Yeah, on his way to the airport, I think Harry said, "Hey, Stiggs, you want to get a photo?" And they got a photo. But nah, it's actually a pretty cool photo. You have a photo right before Harry takes off and has 54 touches. That also made me put into perspective. It was weird. It was like, I also we spoke with Harry last week with Benji, but then he still got a photo with him on the weekend.
Yeah.
Let's answer the question though, Brody. What do you think? I think.
What is? Nah.
What do you want everybody to say? Yeah, the AFL did.
I don't know. It's gone against the Crows every time. They've probably been the unluckiest team. They missed out on finals because of
the throw by Fogarty. How was the umpire meant to see that if he's
Was it Keys,
not
you mean?
for- It was Fogarty to Keys or Keys to
Keys to Cumming.
Was it?
At the
Okay.
end, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, from the direction I was watching, you couldn't see it. So
Also in the
It's
wet,
unlucky.
like it's so
Yeah.
hard to call those throws.
when you sell it enough, when you're doing the action and then you tip it off at the same time, it kind of works.
Yeah, but I think
Yeah, it's frustrating.
the rub of the green goes both ways. So Crows have been hard done by previously, and this week they were a bit fortunate. I think that's just the swings and roundabouts.
I agree. Amiel also asked a question on last week's podcast, and he was a bit cut that we didn't ask his question to Harry. And then he went to a talk the next day when Harry was speaking, and there was questions from the crowd, and Amiel didn't want him to stand up and ask the question. But, Amiel, we have saved you, and Dean's about to find the answer to the question. So Amiel asked,
What was your lowest ever whoop score?
and Harry says,
Explain what that is first for the people that don't.
oh, well, Harry wears the whoop wristband, which I'm sure many are familiar with, and it gives you like a score based on your sleep. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think
strain, sleep,
overall
daily
training,
stress,
readiness.
everything.
Okay.
Sure.
And his answer.
My lowest ever whoop score, recovery score, was last year on our footy trip in Bali. I think it was like day 2. I got it down to 3% or something.
Thank you, Harry. Sounded like he was in the toilet there.
I think he was eating.
Yeah.
It may be eating on the toilet.
Yep. Calories in, calories out type shit.
Wouldn't surprise me with that guy. He's
Nah.
got some weird intricacies.
Aiden, what is the pass mark for Saints next year and the year after for Naz to want to stay? Next year, I think, is pass marks finals. Like, they probably won't, but I think when you recruit De Koning. You've got, some good players there. If you're going to make this investment in De Koning, like, I think your pass mark is finals, and then the year after as well to make him want to stay.
Yeah, no more honourable finishes at 9th or 10th. It has to be finals. And same as the year after. So is this whole circus going to happen the year after as well, when he's out of contract at the end of the year?
Yeah, well.
So I think the exact same thing's going to happen. And Port and Adelaide should be ready.
Yes, I think they are ready.
Well,
I think they will be. And they might be able to, get some better picks by then and try and, convince them to leave. He also might be in free agency as well, so it might not even, that might not even be a factor.
all right.
Let's not be silly. Let's quickly go over these. Brody?
Yes. Going to keep this short, like the short-lived nickname, Sheezy Ball. Congratulations, Kane Corns. You have once again made a fool of yourself, and waiting for a live apology or someone to out you on live TV, because I feel like he gets away with it too much. He makes these absurd and outrageous calls, and when he gets them wrong, no one really gets into him that much. So I'd love to see someone give it to him, and, that nickname didn't even get through a bloody season. So
yeah, I listened this morning. David King did not get into him enough. So he
said was like, yeah, congratulations to Harry.
He
Like,
touched
it was
on
a
it.
great effort.
He touched on it initially by saying like a little intro monologue into the round, and he goes, "And my man Harry Sheezel, 54 touches," and he uses "my man" facetiously for guys like Norton, Tim
It's the same as
Taranto.
Ginnivan as well. He tries to maneuver the whole conflict as if like
He's a good guy,
he's a
and
good
he's
guy,
As if
and
it was a
he's-
joke and like...
No,
yeah.
as if like he was doing it to motivate them or inspire them to play differently or to try and live up to the words that he was saying. Whereas you mentioned he was being facetious.
Yeah, and then when they actually got onto the North Richmond game, so they already didn't give it enough airtime.
It's a cheap move to try and stay in the clear, I reckon.
Yeah, he immediately... He said, like, congratulations, whatever, but then he immediately mentioned uncontested possessions, which is 38, and then he goes and corridor touches, which is 22, and by mentioning corridor touches, it led him down the talk of Richmond and their lack of defence. So there was not much talk about Harry, and for David King, a North Melbourne man, to not say, can you apologise, and not make more about the nickname, and maybe that's better for Harry, because you know how he said when people mention it, it just gives it more airtime. So maybe it is a bit better. But for us, we want to see Kane say sorry. He's done it seldomly, but for this one, you're clearly wrong. The guy's just gone and got the most touches ever, equal, and come out and apologise.
Wow.
Get around him.
Dean's take on my take. No, very
Dean's
good.
really just
very
taking
good.
it.
I agree. I think for someone that speaks as much as Kane Corn does, they should be ready to apologise when they're wrong.
Nice. Very good, Brody. Let's not be silly. Chris Scott, he had a go at the SCG groundsman, saying that the middle of the ground looked like Mumbai. Bit of a joke there, but let's not be silly, Chris Scott. Mumbai is actually a really good deck in India. And there's a lot of spin-friendly pitches, but Mumbai is actually typically quite hard, plays quite even, friendly for the batters. Do your research. Should have said looked like Nagpur or Pune or one of those other places. So
Doesn't have the same ring to it.
it doesn't. But
Look like Nagpur.
but then if you're like, oh, it's really like a green top. Could have said look like Hamilton in New Zealand when they had that green top against West Indies a few years ago. So I think he's just gone, oh yeah, it's cricket, India, Mumbai. I reckon he's just done a little easy one there. So do your research, Chris Scott.
And my let's not be silly is Hawthorn running out to Fiend, not the Hawthorn theme song. So this is a second week in a row I've noticed
Shag
it.
up and about.
It's second week in a row I've noticed it. This time was as they come up the race, it's Fiend. As they run through the banner, it's still Fiend. And as I'm going to say the last player runs through, it changes to Hawthorn.
I'm not going to lie. I reckon that's a player's initiative. They're pretty cringe.
Nah, it just, I already think the banner's lost its pageantry. Players don't break it. They just go under it. What's the point of that big thing if they're not going to go and break it? And it's just, I don't know, it's a bit meh. Like, we'll use the word Americanized, but that's what it does. Like, we have a theme song. We're unique in having a theme song. Play play the damn song.
Theme sucks as well. It's not a good song.
Yeah, and yeah.
I think it was all right for the start, but now I guess maybe you can change it up.
Play it as like a warm-up song.
Can we bring back Glitter and Gold?
Yeah,
For the finals.
yeah.
At
It's
least.
like Prime Mitchell and
Yes, that is
Dodgy.
prime titch.
Yeah,
Right?
true. Yeah, sorry, reminiscing.
Gee, I think I got to pour water on Dean because he's on fire here. Tipping, cups and tips. We've done a lot of the hot news, the Rankin, the Nasiah, the Shag, the Harry. Big round, last round, and we'll include the Gold Coast Essendon game as well. I'm just on the tipping. So Dean, you've gone 23rd, so you've done really well there.
Yeah, another nice week. 8 from 9.
Yes, I'm still 75th, so no good for me. And shout out to the winner of the round, Kai, friend of the podcast, Elgin, with 9 and a margin of 10. And then just looking at the...
Someone else tied with it.
Yep, sorry, Josh G also got 9, fair play, but had a margin of 18. Looking at the leaderboard going into the last round, I think it includes finals. Did we include finals last year?
You set up the comps, so I'm not sure.
Okay, well, I'll think about that. But Noah Matner
I
is
don't
on
think it
150. Giddy Swatlow 149. Nadav Stowe at 148. And Giddy Banky at 148. Daniel Hyman rounds out the top 5 with 147. So it's going to be an interesting race for the top spot. I think Noah Matner is held on all year. You wouldn't want to choke here. Seems like pretty easy games to tip. There's a couple of 50-50s, so we'll see how we go. And also shout out to Asher Hirschfield, who is number 1 in the world.
Yeah,
in the
so
entire ESPN.
how many people?
Was speaking to him on Saturday night, and he came up to me. He said, like, the podcast and whatnot. Then I don't know how we got onto it, but he said, I'm first in tipping. Or someone said, hey, Dean, ask him where he's in tipping. And I'm like in ESPN. And I didn't believe him. Shows me the phone. It looks fake. He's first out of
894,609.
Get yourself a lottery ticket.
It's unbelievable, but
better. That's crazy.
it's
I say
unbelievable.
1 in a million. That's it.
Yeah.
Almost.
What's a shame is that he's not sure if there's a prize. We know for AFL Fantasy,
like a Hilux.
you win a Hilux,
Yeah.
but ESPN, I don't think they have advertised a
Gee,
prize
that'd be
for the winner.
disappointing.
He couldn't find it everywhere, and he's only in a comp with his mates with a free entry
Oh,
fee.
I
So
imagine
God.
if there was an entry fee of $1,
yeah.
I
Wow.
think it's like 500,000.
Wow.
Yeah, he actually joined our league, but I don't think he registered.
He
It's just
said
too
he
late
felt bad.
for not joining our
Yeah.
league or for joining it late.
I think for joining it late
Yeah,
and having
yeah.
such a
Yeah, I wouldn't give it to him anyway, even if
Wouldn't
it registered. But
but yeah.
fair play. I've been in the top 100 before. I think Adam was in the top 100
Just to
last
finish
year.
70th,
Oh,
and
last year?
we thought that was amazing, and it was.
Fair play.
Right.
Asher, round 24. Big games, deciding Brownlows, deciding top 8 finishes, top 4 home finals. And we're starting with Essendon and Carlton, the Bull Satterfield Cup and the Erasio Fantasia Cup. And the...
Andrew Phillips,
Flipper.
your man.
Adams man.
Good.
Anyone else?
Townsend never played for Carlton.
No.
I believe there is one more, but we can move
I think
on.
I'm
Carlton
going to go the Baggers.
could be close.
Nah, Carlton. Merritt's 250th. He's back.
Pies VDs. Automatically, I think of Ben Kennedy always.
Yeah, I think Ben
Lyndon
Kennedy,
Dunn.
Lumumba, Dunn, Elliot,
Almost
Howe,
Petrarca.
sorry. Maybe Petrarca. You've got Woden of the Shane variety.
Yes.
And that's enough. I don't even care about the cups. Collingwood will probably win this
Yeah,
game.
it'd
though.
be nice if you won.
Well, I mean, it'd be nice, but I think Collingwood, even if they win, are still in danger of Gold Coast. So
You going?
that's the,
Yeah,
I think I'm going. Yes, but
7-10 starts interesting.
Last game of watching fill in the
Petrarca,
blank.
Petrarca,
Clary.
May.
Salem,
Gone.
probably not May. No, not gone. And let's go
Collingwood.
Harry Sharp. Nah.
Collingwood.
Collingwood.
Port Crom versus Gold Coast.
The launcher.
The launcher.
What the
Trent
what-
McKenzie,
Yes,
the cannon.
The cannon.
Jack Homsch Cup, and also
Yes.
shout out to Jack Homsch. He's the Adelaide defence coach, and he's been doing a very good job. So,
Oh,
Well done, Jack Hunt.
but on Jack
fair
Homsch,
play.
Tips.
you've got that young bloke, Aaron Young. Is that his name?
Oh wow.
He's young.
He's not young.
Tips. Oh, back to back on a Friday
Young
night.
and
Gold Coast. Young and
Coast.
horny,
Gold
but it is
Coast.
Boakes and Hinkley's last game.
Yeah, they always get revved up for Hinkley, but I think
Gee,
the-
they do get revved up for Hinkley, and he's
they-
last
yeah,
game.
he's gonna give it his
Speaking
all.
of a team that get revved up late in the season, North Melbourne.
Yes, well, the North Adelaide Cup is the
Yeah.
Sam Gibson Cup, I believe. And
Yes.
that's probably about it.
Probably about it, he says. I'm
Nah,
going
it's
to go
not-
North.
no.
Especially with no Rankin. North.
Really? That's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
At Marvel?
At Marvel.
Nah, I'm going Adelaide.
Adelaide, North will be riding that high of last season into the off season. Last week.
Geelong v Richmond.
Taylor Hunt.
Yep.
Sean Grigg.
Well, he coached there, so I'll if you will it. Gee, I'm struggling with the Cups, but I think it's a pretty easy Geelong win.
Geelong.
I reckon like some of these Geelong backs are gonna get crazy fantasy. Like Bailey Smith could get like 160 for Adam in the granny.
We'll give a little shout out at the end, but
West Coast v Sydney.
Lewis Jetta for Callum Sinclair, the famous 1-for-1
Yep.
trade.
Dean Cox, if you will.
Yeah, if you will it.
Don Pike. No, he
If
was
you
at
will.
Adelaide.
Tips?
And West Coast? Has he been like CEO of like or like
Yeah,
footy manager? Anyway,
something at Sydney.
yeah. Tips.
Sydney.
GWS versus Saints.
Did Membry?
No, he was at Sydney.
no.
GWS
Steele
Saints.
started?
Soon to
Jack
be
Steele.
Yeah, Jack
Good
Steele.
birdie.
soon to be a Lear.
Good Dean.
Soon to be a Lear of the Lack variety.
Okay. I thought you were going to say the other one. Anyone else?
Giants Saints. Nah, I can't. Almost Finn Callahan, but not. The Giants will win this game, I think. They're in some good form.
Yeah, they will.
Giants. Bulldogs v Freo. The Lobster.
The elimination final.
Yes, the
Rory
Lobster.
Lobb.
Hayden Crozier. Bob Murphy, if you will.
No, come on. Let's think of a plan.
Yeah, I'm on the if you wills too much here.
If you can.
Joel Hamling.
Yeah, good.
Joel Hamling Cup.
nice. The
Nice.
Joel Hamling Cup.
It's always a great one. It's one of my favourites.
Is it?
Like the Richard Tambling?
Yeah.
It's up there, yeah.
Yeah, well, no, Joel
Did we ever
Hamling's pretty
mention
good.
Richard Tambling this
We
year?
did.
Yeah,
we
we
did.
did.
Okay,
I
yeah.
reckon we did.
Yeah, I feel like it'd be wrong if we didn't.
All right.
Brisbane v
Wait,
Hawks.
who wins that one? It's the biggest
Yeah.
game of the week. I think the Dogs.
Yeah, I reckon Dogs at Marvel.
Dogs.
Shame.
Who's-
Freo will miss finals with 15 wins. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Brisbane v Hawks.
Jack Gunston,
Gunston, Hodgie.
Brandon Ryan, Birchall.
Birchall.
And there's one more.
You said Gunston?
Oh, yeah, Fagan, if you will. But no.
Fagan, if you
I'm
will.
going to tip Brisbane.
I think we're going to play really well and just lose.
So would you finish, do you reckon? If you lose?
Eight.
And if you win your top four? Potentially.
Crazy.
Potentially.
Wow. And last of all,
chase.
well, I guess we'll actually do a
Tip,
podcast
tip,
before
tip.
this. I'll go Brisbane. So I don't need it. We
We'll
don't
do
need
a
to do that
pod
last game.
before last one.
Yeah.
I was also thinking next week should be a look at our predictions at the start pod with some award predictions, and then the next week after that, a finals preview.
Yeah. Cool. I agree. Good
And
stuff.
Good luck to Schuster and Kai in the
Yep.
fantasy grand
Good
final.
luck to Asher.
And me in the third place game against Remy.
Loves the third place game, Chase.
Yes. Thank you, Brody. Thank you, Dean.
Jace.
Peace.